Hi, my name is Sarah Lewis, and this is a summary of my reading and writing journey. I began learning the alphabet when I was around 3 years old. I learned the alphabet first through memorization of the ABC song. My mom and I would sing the song in the car on the way to the grocery store. After mastering the ABC song, my mom would get me to trace the letters in a practice book. She purchased an ABC practice book so I would have some background knowledge of reading and writing before pre-K. Every night before I went to sleep, my mom would read me a few stories. My favorite stories one of my favorite stories was Samuel and Eli out of my children's Bible book. I also liked the story Boom Chicka Boom. That specific story helped me understand the letters of the alphabet and their sounds in a fun and creative way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of my childhood and helped me prepare to start preschool at 3 years old. I attended a private week school that had smaller class sizes. The smaller class sizes allowed the teacher to spend more one-on-one time with each child. My teacher collected data, assessed us to determine if we all had met the requirements to begin kindergarten. I learned how to read by listening to words and their sounds. Once I had learned a good number of words, my teacher would let us practice making short 3-word sentences. I learned how to read books with simple sentences and lots of pictures to help me understand what I was reading. In kindergarten, my teachers would use simple early readers that had lots of pictures. Around 2nd and 3rd grade, I began to read short juvenile books. My favorite book series around that time was Junie B. Jones. I also liked to read The Magic Tree House and A to Z mystery books. Growing up, I attended a public school. My small town public school had an accelerated reader program. The program was designed for 1st through 3rd graders. Each grade level was given a list of books to read from. The students could select any book from the list to read. After the student read the book, he or she would take a small quiz testing the student's reading comprehension. If the student scored a 60 or below, they would have to retake the test. The student would record their test grade and what book he or she read in the book log. At the end of the quarter, each student would turn in their log to their teacher, and their teacher would give students prizes if they met a certain goal. One of the rewards was an ice cream social. Everyone who met a certain goal got to attend the social at the end of the school day. As I got older and transitioned into middle school, I began picking up the TV remote more than I would books. There were very few books that I was interested in. A lot of people my age were interested in the Twilight series around that time. My favorite books during early middle school was Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Dork Diaries. Both plots were very similar. Although my middle and high school didn't have many reading programs, they did have book clubs and they offered a yearly book fair. The book clubs would meet weekly to discuss the book of the week. The teachers who led the book clubs would assign books for the students to read, and then they would regroup and come back together and discuss what they learned in that book, what was interesting, what they felt was confusing. And although I loved my small town, my school lacked in providing students with the resources they needed to meet their grades' reading requirements. Many of the students in my 7th grade English class read below their grade's reading level. I was one of those students. My middle school did not provide those students who were behind a reading level the support they needed to read at their grade's reading level. I was upset to find out that I read below my grade's reading level. I worked hard that year to get back on track. My hard work for the next couple of years paid off. In sophomore year of high school, I tested into dual enrollment classes. After 2 years of college-level English in high school, I felt prepared for my writing-intensive courses in college. The most influential writing course that I have taken in college would be English 400. I took this writing-intensive course over the summer with Dr. McGee. I was extremely nervous about taking this course because I have struggled with writing in the past. In English 400, we had to watch assigned documentaries and write about the types of documentaries, lighting, etc. We also had to provide quotes from our textbook. I didn't do too well on my first assignment, and I went back and took Dr. McGee's advice on how to better my writing. The next couple assignments I submitted went much smoother. I saw my grade improve and ended up doing well in the class. I had fun writing and learning about all different types of documentaries. College has matured my writing. My high school experiences gave me a brief explanation of APA and MLA formatting, but college taught me how to use these formats. I really wish my college-level high school courses focused more on formatting so I could have had a better foundation for my college English courses that I had to take. Looking back over my life, my best experience was breaking into small groups to read. My second grade teacher would have us rotating in groups doing different reading activities. One of the groups would stay and read with the teacher. I love that experience because my teacher was able to answer many questions about those specific readings during that time versus pausing during instructional time to go back and review with her students that didn't understand the material. My worst reading experience was popcorn reading. I never really liked popcorn reading because I was always focused on who was reading and not what they were reading. I would often have to go back and reread the material to prepare for tests. Although I was better at reading than writing in school, I loved to write my own short stories. My favorite writing experience was creating my own short story with the help of my mom. It was loads of fun and sparked my interest in writing. My interest later continued in high school where I took a creative writing course. That course was my favorite one in high school. I loved writing short stories from different genres. I found the class to be very relaxed and less stressful than others that I had to take. Even though I have had many positive writing experiences, I have also had negative ones. My worst school experience with writing was in college. I had to write a 10-page paper with strict guidelines. I, at the time, was unfamiliar with the format the professor wanted me to use. Instead of seeking help from the Writing Center, I asked Google. I ended up failing the paper due to not citing my information in the correct format. I took this fall as a learning experience and tried to get help from real sources when I didn't understand what I was doing. As I journey to become a teacher, I hope to gather enough data to help identify those students who struggle with reading and writing. I hope to assist those students so that they can reach their full learning potential. I strive to be like my 8th grade English teacher. She never gave up on her students, and she always managed to provide help to those who needed extra resources. I look forward to teaching the creative minds of the future.